welcome to another My Little Podcast. We are your hosts. I am Bree. I'm here with my father, Gary.
Hello.
My mother, Shelly.
Hi there.
And my brother, Bryson.
Hello.
And today we're going to be talking about our trip to Oatman, and also we're going to maybe discuss some other stuff too. You never know where the wind might take us.
You never know.
But first, a quick word from our sponsor, MyLittleHomestead.com merchandise store.
In a world devoid of color, one hero seeks to change their wardrobe forever. Visit My Little Homestead to upgrade your closet today. Act as quickly as your finger can clicky.
15% off today only. Link in the description.
I hope that works.
That was good.
Bryson's been dying to say "in a world" for a long time. That was his opportunity. Good job, Bry.
It was good. That was good. It was awesome. So we took a recent trip up to Oatman, and our recent weekly peek that came out on Friday, or last Friday, was it? I suppose.
Last Friday, Kuna Matata, same thing.
I know, last Friday and this Friday and all the Fridays that we took our trip to Oatman, and we had a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was a
Went up
blast.
there.
Yeah.
And saw some donkeys.
Donkey.
Yep.
Eat-aw.
We used to have donkeys.
We had.
Sometimes
we
I
did.
act like a donkey.
Sometimes I feel like a donkey.
Sometimes I don't. Boom, 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 boom. Mounds. Anyway.
I wish there was a donkey song, but I can't think of one.
Okay, so
right now.
I think a wonderful way to segue us into our tales about Oatman is this question from Glenn Atchison, who says, Oatman is quite a long ride from home. What made you go there? And Mom, did you want to answer that one?
Yeah, I guess it's one of my mom, your guys' grandma, is a favorite place to go. Went ahead and headed up there, and of course she was with us, which always makes it fun. And I guess it's, you don't think about it because we've been there a few times now, and you don't think about how, it's just pretty exciting that donkeys are just like in the town. I mean, I don't think that's the only town I've ever known of that actually has that, and it is kind of a unique experience going there.
Yeah, seeing all the donkeys everywhere is interesting. And they don't, it's like other animals. When you see a bunch of them all at once, you really get to see how different they are, and you can see the Jennies, and then all, just seeing them all the different faces and the different personalities almost. Donkeys they're a lot of fun. There's a lot of personality there,
That one that was just so enjoying you petting, I think it was a him. His face was so, you could tell he'd been in a lot of little scuffles. He had cuts on his little nose there. And I think you even were telling him, you've been in a lot of fights, haven't you?
Yeah, that was great. And we didn't say this, but all of the donkeys, they up and go at 5 o'clock every night. They all exit all at once. And it's like animals where all of a sudden everybody does something and you're like, what started it? I don't even know, but they just go. They just leave.
I kind of wonder if they are like humans, because we all leave the town. I imagine it the town gets dormant around that time because all the tourists start to leave and everyone starts to leave. Maybe they just think they got to go somewhere too.
Yeah, maybe. They're definitely creatures of habit. I wanted to know where they went, but nobody knew.
Oh, you have to like put a GoPro on one's head.
Yeah,
a tracking device.
You put that on the
You probably would be permanently cursed if you followed them. So the GoPro would be the way to go.
Yeah.
You know what? I bet you they go to the Odie the Ghost.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, disappear.
Yeah.
They disappear. That's
Maybe maybe they were never
what I kept
there in the
wondering?
first place.
You know what I'm wondering is that if there's people ghosts in that town, why are there not donkey ghosts in that town?
good.
And no one mentions that.
Maybe they were all ghosts that we were looking at.
Whoa.
They were
I know
never
they're
there.
all
That's why
like
they
the,
disappeared.
Maybe they're all
They
the
turn
miners.
to ghosts at night.
They're
Wow.
they're like
This
the
is fun
miners
somewhere.
Yeah,
from the gold miners
from a long time ago, coming back.
Yeah. Whoa, my mind just got blown just
Well-
for a second there.
My mind got blown just listening to it. It was wonderful.
Well, it was funny because we bumped into one guy there, and he had the greatest stories of Oatman. He had this deep voice, and he was like the perfect, just like your typical, rugged, and I wanted to film him, and I said, hey, is it okay if we, I think we said something about a photo. and he said, oh, no photos. And I was like, oh, okay, well, and it's not a photo. We'll film you. It's not a photo. It's And he like looks at me, and Bree's going, Mom. And I'm like, what's going on? And I had no idea, but he had a belief that, it would like take his soul if we, and I had no idea. I kept kind of asking, but apparently that was
he was really, really jovial about it. Like he's like, I want as much of my soul when I get to heaven as I can, is how he was telling you. And you're like, oh, but it's not a photo, it's a video. And then he like, that tripped him up. He's like, whoa. And then he went, and then he was
goes,
like, but is there photos in the video? Like it's moving pictures,
well,
right?
does it have a picture of me?
Like, maybe. And he's like, no.
Okay, in all fairness, I didn't hear his first reaction. I was fiddling with the camera, so I just was expecting him to say yes. So I was getting ready.
Everybody was saying yes, when we asked them. So.
Normally people go, yeah, no problem.
Because they're they're entertainers. That's what they do. So
I mean, he had great stories of a fire that went on there, and we asked him about the ghosts because it was kind of interesting to ask the townspeople about the ghosts. I don't think there was anyone we asked that didn't totally believe they were there, and he was like, oh yeah, there's way more than Odie. Like there's like,
he rattled
several,
off like, several of them. Like
and
an
we're like,
woman and the kid, and like I don't know, there's a bunch of them that he rattled off.
Yeah.
So,
and also and she talked about the old hotel that used to be there too.
Yeah, we'll have that. That's going to be in the video.
We
now.
had
We'll
so much footage.
Sneak peek of the sneak peek.
We had so much footage and great things that we wanted to share from Oatman that it's going to carry on one more story at least from Oatman in the next weekly peek. So
yeah, it's interesting. Normally when we've gone to Oatman in the past or anywhere in the past, you go and you see a couple of the sites, and then you go through all the gift shops, and then you eat a little bit and away you go, But this time it was a lot more fun because we were going there specifically to find townspeople to talk to. And it just bumped up our experience tenfold, I thought, to be able to, and how much richer the experience became when you could go in and find out and talk to people.
Yeah.
I kind of went in with the idea of I need to talk to people. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I just did.
Well, we did.
And
That
I came
was the
in,
idea.
and it's just like one place to the next place to the next store, and I kept doing that. I kept looking around, looking. So I kind of had that deal. I don't know why. It was just like I need to talk to someone.
That was kind of what we talked about going there too. Let's talk to some people. Let's go a little deeper and find out some information about the town. And it really helped. It enhanced the experience too.
Oh, it was so much fun. Because these people share their stories, and you think, oh man, you want to share it with as many people as you can, because it's such a good story, but you never can recount it the same way they did. You can always get little fragments of it when you're retelling it, and it's a really cool feeling to be able to document and share it too. It never goes away. Their stories and whatever they want to bestow upon us. Their wisdom. We get to share that. It's cool. It's a cool feeling to be able to do that too. So, and they were really awesome, very willing to do it. Most of them, except that one guy.
Yeah.
He will remain in our memories forever. So.
Well, Dad even bumped into a gal who called herself the town, and she had like
yes, it's
like
Oatman. So
she was like the town person that nobody likes, but she used a different word.
Yeah.
It had to do with donkeys.
It did.
And some hole somewhere. Yeah, that's what she called herself.
Yeah. So. Yeah.
Yeah.
She had been there 40 years. She had originally it was an oddity shop kind of a thing, with antiques and things like that in it. And then she later on got enough kind of different antiques that she created a museum out of it. So half of it was a museum, half of it was curios type of things you could go in and buy different things. She even had some certificates for gold mines that didn't exist anymore, so that kind of a thing, and which were neat. Those were back in the 1900s, early 1900s.
Yeah, the art in the stuff that was there. I'm sorry, were you done?
No, that's fine.
The art that was there was just such a stark contrast too to when we'd been to Kentucky and Berea, and all the woodworking. It was very fine art, very detailed. And this was more of the, the Wild West, rugged antiques and, a totally different feel.
Yeah, it was a different.
different heritage, different roots for sure.
They had a gunfight. Remember the gunfight?
Yeah, actually, I was gonna lead us right in, but Bryson, is there one more thing you wanted to say on the antique thing? Because you look like you were gonna.
Oh yeah, so our grandpa was there, and he was telling us how there was an old washing machine there. He was telling us how he used to run them off of a diesel engine or an engine. You'd fire up an engine to get those going. Apparently, so it's kind of interesting. He showed me like a forge there too. It was kind of neat, like an old forge,
that he said that his father used too.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
They would come to him like it was a specialty thing that I think it was his father and his uncle both, or something like that. They both were very good at that.
That's
forging
interesting.
thing.
I wonder if that's like kind of like owning a 3D printer today or something. People come to
Good point.
I wonder if that would be comparable to that. I don't know.
I should have asked him what kind of things, if it was just horseshoes or if it was other things, like if you needed a hinge or something more intricate.
I'm sure they did.
I'm
sure they.
Yeah, you still can ask him. You know him.
Yeah. Oh my gosh! Yeah. Whoa! Again, mind blown.
Saw him. Wow.
So
as everything goes.
Yeah. Maddie Adams asks, "Were you able to see the gunfight in Oatman?"
Oh yes.
Those were the biggest guns ever. You know how you have it's a gunfight, so obviously there's guns, and the pop sound. Those had to have been super, super loaded 45s.
They were
because
loaded 45s.
Your ears actually rung after the thing, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that was so much.
It shot smoke out of the end of the gun.
Yeah,
good 6-8 feet.
You had to have been like, and there's a lot of people around. You had to have been like shooting that.
Off shooting. Yeah.
Really, really off shooting because of how I felt like those were really loaded.
Yeah,
but it was good though. It was good.
Even Bree and I had an opportunity early on to participate in a comedy gunfight, and
for a summer.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Almost 6 months. I played a weirdo character. We were bank robbers, weren't we?
Yeah, you carried the show, and I starred in it. It was fun.
You had all the great lines.
I had all the fun. Yeah, I was able to be fun and goofy.
Yeah, goofy fun stuff.
That was a lot of fun.
I'm the one I was only funny because I appeared stupid, which was easy.
Well, I was too. I kept dying.
But you were funny.
I died at the end of every act.
I think I died. I died several times too.
Oh, yeah, you died. So I died, then you died at the end of every act.
So it was a 45-minute show, and we took some falls and offshoot, and there were gags, and we got dirty, and we did 4 shows. It was a different Wild West town, but there's a lot of them out here. Yeah, and we did it was fun. It was a lot of fun to do that and participate. You did that as your homeschool project too, or at least
I suppose. Yeah, I was.
I made
one of those homeschool. It was my theater. It was my homeschool theater.
To be or not to be.
I remember Bree. She said to the skit where you go into a building and you come out with a bunch of dust and you'd be like, we're going to be going everywhere. And you pretend to like shot your foot or something.
She had a shotgun back there with a blank in it. And she
so
would pull
loud. You actually had to put headphones on.
Yeah, there was a special theater dust that was put into a 5-gallon bucket. And Bree would take the shotgun and she'd get it about 6-8 inches from the bottom, and she'd hit that gun. That would pretend to be the explosion, but it would also cause this dust to go everywhere.
Yeah. And
she would have dust coming out of everything in the cracks, and so the people in the audience saw that and they thought there was an explosion, right? Because she went in there with dynamite. Remember?
I did. Yeah. I went in with dynamite.
We had this whole gag about the dynamite and throwing it around.
It was supposed to be a bank, baby.
It was a bank. You were robbing a bank, but you came out of the outhouse, which was right next door.
Oh, okay.
That's what it was.
Oh, that's
Remember?
Right.
You came in.
You'd have dust in your hand. You go
like I was coughing it out. That was so fun.
Yeah.
Now, and they're real guns that you guys used.
Yeah, we used real guns with
blanks inside of them, but they were actual.
Aren't they just?
Which I think that's where you really learned how to use a gun. Really at that show.
Not how to aim, because you offshoot. Blanks.
Yeah, you don't ever point a gun at anybody ever. That rule still happens in those shows. You don't point at people. You offshoot.
That's one of the. Yeah, that was one of the things that was a little surprising at Oatman. I don't know if they had different rules or not, but they seemed really careless about where they pointed those things.
It did seem like they weren't as careful as we were.
Sketchy. I was like,
well, it's different for different areas.
Yeah.
I
mean, we never pointed. Don't think we ever pointed at the audience ever.
Oh, never. No.
And then everything was an offshoot too. So, and we were careful and knew we had to do that. So.
A lot of gun safety going on.
There was a huge amount of gun safety. We didn't do our own loads. We had a professional do that. So
so it was a lot of fun, though.
Well,
it was a good
The
experience.
guy at the show, too, to get the audience ready, he would go and he would find all the women. He would flirt with the women.
Yeah.
That was so
And
funny.
the next thing I look over and he's over there flirting with my mom.
And she's like, "Oh, can I have a picture?" Like she's like, "Totally." It was great.
It happened all my life growing up, you know.
Yeah,
But she handles
very
it
classy,
really well.
very
She's very
pretty
classy.
lady. Yeah.
Kind of brushes them off in a
Yeah.
nice way.
Very, very classily. She brushes
But
them
this
off.
obviously was a joke, you
Yeah,
know,
it
with
was a
him
joke.
coming over. And then I did film a little bit of that, but I thought, you know, we have to, every time we post a video, we have to say there's no gun violence in what we're uploading and stuff. And I thought, even though it's comedy and silly, I just thought we're not going to put any of that in there. Just it's, you know, because
Yeah.
we do make that, you know, when we upload the videos, we
Yeah.
make that commitment to not do gun violence.
Even though it's
Yeah.
comedy,
Yeah.
you know, it's a show.
And it's just a
we're
show.
actors,
It's still-
or they're actors. So
Yeah.
yeah.
it
Isn't
is.
that what Hollywood does too with all their films that they post?
Oh yeah, they
Oh,
have.
yeah.
They
There's
promise
that
no
little
gun
disclaimer,
violence.
They have
no gun violence.
they have a weapons prop master, and the weapons prop master is the one that's responsible for the weapons that are locked
I'm sure
up,
that's
and their loads
probably-
are all done professionally, and they're triple.
Oh, you being
triple
serious?
checked.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I was just joking.
No,
on
they
that.
do. They have a
Hey,
whole
his mom
guy.
knows that it's Hollywood.
The
They gotta get
weapons
their
master has
monetization
to. The weapons master has to approve all weapons. You know, you don't want an accidental load to go off and hurt somebody. So
Makes
know.
sense.
Yeah,
That
that would
makes
really
sense.
put a damper on your show.
That would put
Yeah.
a damper.
yeah.
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 That
I
would-
do remember though,
that would
we
ruin
had
it
a
right there.
drunk that was part of our show, and
Yeah. He wasn't a drunk himself,
No.
but he played a drunk.
oh god, he was
Yeah.
good too.
He
Well,
was good.
was good.
He was good.
And he accidentally pulled the trigger before getting it out of this holster.
Oh.
And he had an open-ended holster, and the flame burned the side of his pants. You know.
Oh, just the blank
Yeah,
burn.
the blank did. 'Cause
Yeah.
there's
Oh.
stuff that shoots out
Yeah.
of them.
Do you remember
Oh.
I did a
Yeah.
demo of gun safety before I actually did this, letting the audience know that
Yeah,
there's
like
no.
he would go
Yeah.
through a whole thing.
and I had a pop can, and I would actually blow a hole through the pop can using a blank.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So we.
It was pretty amazing.
Yeah.
I actually have a story to tell too.
Go for it.
I would, in the first act, I would go up to a
They're safe
balcony,
from
and the
distance,
balcony was carpeted, and I was supposed to. The gag was I shot my toe off. Okay, and I was. You have it. I still had. You wanted to. No, obviously not aiming at yourself, or you'll burn your pants. So, but I shot it, and I shot it straight down to pretend like it was on my toe, but I angled it not quite enough. It was too close to the carpet on the ground, and I'm smelling something burning. But I think nothing of it. I come back for the second show, and there was a hole in the carpet, like a charred hole in the carpet.
Start a fire too.
Thankfully,
and
that
that
didn't
set
go
was,
anywhere.
that set was dry. I
Oh,
can
it was so dry. It
imagine.
was
You
like-
Gonna
didn't-
burn the whole thing
Oh
down.
my gosh, can you
God.
imagine? Ooh, my goodness, it did not do that.
Yeah, I love probably your best gag was when you went behind the bar, and you had lined up a whole. Remember all the cans that we had to set up.
Gosh,
So
you
when
remember this
fell-
way better
Oh
than I
gosh,
do.
it was so funny. She would take off behind the bar and slip, and fall,
Oh,
do a
yeah,
pat
that's
fall
right.
backwards underneath the bar where she disappears from the audience view. But we had set up not pop
right.
cans,
Some sort of-
soup can kind of things, I
Yeah.
guess. And they were all lined up so that when you slid, you hit those cans, all this noise would happen, and like you were breaking things
That's
and stuff. It
right,
was
that's
so
right.
funny.
That was fun.
Gosh, we had a
fun.
great time with that.
That was
So.
fun. That was fun
Yeah.
times. Fun times.
Sounds really fun.
Yeah, it doesn't have anything to do with our Oatman trip, I guess. But,
Well, it
anyway.
brought back a lot of memories.
it
going to
did. I
it.
never even thought about it until just now. So
I was really young when you guys were doing that because I don't have much memory of that.
you went to some of the shows.
I remember seeing
Yeah.
one show.
Well, what were you? You were
I was
16. 15.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I was 15.
So
So that
geez, fairly
would
young.
put me like 10 or 11.
Yeah, 2000 somewhere or
Mhm.
other.
I'd put me like
Mhm.
11 years old.
There's a lot of wonderful, good experiences there. So, for sure. So there's the gunfight story.
Yeah, the
Our
gunfight
gunfight
story.
story. Brought back a lot of memories. Let's see here if we've got another Oatman story. Does anybody have anything else that they'd like to add to the Oatman thing whilst I'm seeking? Oh,
I just wondered why there was no oatmeal there.
I
True.
think that I would have just had it as a gag.
I could not imagine walking down that street and not having a shop that says oatmeal for breakfast, and you could come in and eat oatmeal. Like
at oatmeal at Oatman.
I would have
That
done
makes
that.
sense. And you become the world famous oatmeal.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And you
Oatman
use
oatmeal.
sprouted oats because you know
Yeah.
those taste really good.
Yeah.
Yes.
And no one else can top it
There you
because
go.
they're
And
made
you don't
with
tell
sprouted.
people they're
No.
sprouted.
You don't.
They just
Yeah.
go, wow, these
This is
taste really good.
phenomenal.
What,
Yeah.
This oatmeal is
Yes.
delicious.
It tastes like any other oatmeal, but no, I don't know.
It tastes a little
No.
better.
It's a little
I feel
sweet.
like
No, I
it's
think
like,
you
whoa,
just-
what's the secret?
It does.
That's true.
And you use the sprouted bread, and
That's true.
it is off the top
Okay.
phenomenal.
So now we have to
Sorry.
ask you, Bryson. Do W says, why did Bryson do a T-shirt change on the road trip? Inquiring minds want to know.
Well, sometimes it's nice to wear a lot of merch during a picture.
I think they're referring
No,
to probably referring to the drive versus when we were at Oatman.
Oh, yeah.
So the drive was actually a day before, and that's probably
Yeah.
why you didn't really do a merch change.
No.
We just had two
No.
different days.
Custom change.
Don't you know?
Yeah.
Bryson at least changes 10 times a day. He doesn't
Yeah,
like to
man.
wear
Oh, yeah.
the same
No.
shirt for over an hour. you
Actually,
know?
lots of times I'm just wearing the same sweater and similar looking pants, and it looks like I never changed.
You just, or you just turned
have
them
a lot
inside
of
out.
Similar
That's-
things that I wear, but
And Tracy Courteau says, can't believe no one has made a comment about getting your kicks on Route 66.
Hey, we just made a comment.
Oh, there
I
goes.
know. You didn't do a pun or anything.
know
Do you
that.
know that saying? You do know
Oh,
that
yeah,
saying,
I
right?
saw
Yeah.
it. Just
And
dawned
the
on me.
donkey kicking. I mean, we should
Yeah.
have had a, yeah.
it just dawned on me that's what it means. Getting kicked by a donkey. Getting your kicks on Route 66.
That's what it means.
That's the pun part.
So thank you, Tracy. That was
Yeah,
a
thank
good
you.
point.
Yeah, no.
Willie, now to add to that, since we're on that road,
Yes.
Willie said, so the hotel is a ghost tell.
Yes.
You know what? There's lots of
Nice.
tails on the donkeys.
Oh, wasn't that lady? She was a lot of fun in there too. She actually had another story on there as well that she claimed that she was trying to somehow she had her peace that she made with Odie, like she had made friends with him somehow, talking or being nice or respecting him or something.
Yeah.
And then she said that when she went away, she claims that when she left that till and she come back, he had stacked up all the coins neatly down.
All the bills, everything was all sorted.
Yeah, it was all sorted and stacked. So anyway,
She says every once in a while he comes and helps me out and does that. She says, it's like, whoa.
Such a courteous ghost.
I know.
just amazing.
I think that's why Grandma likes it. He's a nice ghost. She said like a million times. He's a nice ghost. That was awesome. Love her.
You know what? I will say they say Oatman is a mining town, which you can definitely like see it. Like there's a lot of mining equipment. There's all kinds of stuff around. But what I don't get is where are the mines that they mined out gold? Was it in a river? Did they not dig out the mountain, or did they mine surface mine?
In the,
Just the tops of
Oatman
the...
had in that hill just behind Oatman, the city. That's
Yeah.
where all the mines were.
Okay, so it was just back there further, and maybe they're not open for tourism or something.
They're usually very unstable.
Oh, so they just keep them.
They probably, some of them I'm sure have collapsed and stuff. That's usually the tale for little towns like
okay.
these
Well, I guess that makes sense. But I was wondering that.
from the
It's
mining
like-
boom.
And what was it? The donkeys, they used to haul the supplies or haul the gold?
Yeah,
or
they
what
did.
just
The
used to
miners
haul
brought
it?
them
probably
in
haul
for
the dirt
hauling.
maybe out of the mines.
I'm sure
maybe?
they did a lot of
Something
hauling.
like that.
Yeah, and then they were let loose, and then I guess they just
Just
flourished
probably
in that
worked.
area. So,
Which is impressive.
and they're smart
Well,
cookies.
And
Don't
people
get me started.
feed them. And
Donkeys are
I know
smart.
the last time we were at Oatman, you would get carrots to feed them. People would sell you carrots. This time there was no carrots. It was just those little,
Bermuda,
and I have to
alfalfa
tell a story.
pellets.
First of all, everyone's worried that the donkey's going to actually eat the GoPro.
Oh yeah.
But we had a couple GoPro. Bree had the greatest one with the GoPro in your hand and reaching out. And the donkey knew the difference. Nobody ate the GoPros.
No.
So that was good. And the other thing was originally when we had put the show together, Bryson had made the comment about the present being on the ground. And then right after that, we went to close the scene with Bree feeding the donkey and the donkey's black nose coming right to the camera.
Yeah.
And the
But Bryson's like, Mom, you can't put those two together. It looks like she's feeding them poop.
Yeah.
And it was like, but it flowed so well. I wanted to keep it, but he was right. It looked like, because they were the same shape.
They're
like
the
the
same
shape.
shade and everything else. Like it totally looked like you were doing that, and that just looked wrong.
So we had to just kind of break those scenes up a little bit.
We did.
Because it's weird.
Flow is everything.
Very similar, yeah.
Yes, and we don't want to miscommunicate that.
That would have been
storytelling
wrong.
trick right there. Oops.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did see, like, I had the GoPro in my hand, and the donkey did do, the donkey's like a horse too, where they have their front lip is kind of like a little finger, and it comes out, and you can really see it pronounced on like a camel. They really have they're really, really pronounced, but it's the same thing with horses and donkeys and stuff. And so there was feelers that went out on the GoPro a couple times. I thought, no, you can't eat that. But no, they were always like, oh, that's not food. Like, you couldn't fool them. They're smart.
And that's interesting too, because you'd think you think that a town would be full of donkeys like that. You'd think that the streets would always be really, really dirty.
Well, they have,
but they keep those streets like pretty clean, like surprisingly clean.
I'm sure.
Not food clean, but
what street is?
There's another new one. There was another character that we didn't do much on, and it was Two Hat Justin, Two Hat Luke. Gosh, what was his name?
I don't know.
Two Hat Mario?
No.
Two Hat Albuquerque.
In Oatman?
Clinton, yeah. And he's a kid in town.
Two Hat Mark?
And I bumped into a person that says, I'm looking for
Two Hat Milo.
Stories and stuff. And they had me go up to this, and it was the fire marshal for the town. Said, oh, yeah, no problems. And they made a phone call, made me go up the street. And I started to do my filming and everything. And unfortunately, my camera didn't work well because its operator wasn't pushing the right buttons. But anyway, all I got were pictures. I didn't get the video. So, but I did do a little bit of study on it, and he's a neat kid. He made a box guitar, and no, I'm sorry. He had a box guitar made for him, and he plays it in town. He has a little bit of a learning disability. Cute, good kid. It's real sharp.
Well,
and
what
he
are you
did the
talking
interview and
age?
everything.
You're saying kid, so he's
like
8,
14.
9? Oh, 14.
Yeah,
okay.
14, 15 years old. Two Hat Luke, I think, or something like that. I'm sorry I didn't get that in. You guys didn't remember that.
We didn't know about
it. I didn't know about it.
Yeah, because it didn't turn out, and I didn't want to tell you. The truth be known. But yeah, plus you had already kind of done, we had already done some of the other instrument thing stuff.
Yeah, once we talked to Caroline, she was
like, that was it.
There wasn't much more to do. But anyway, I Two Hat Luke, I think. And he was an interesting character to talk to. He actually wears two cowboy hats that are pressed together. Oh. And that's his gig, stuff he does. And good kid, and he's got some good Facebook thing going on and stuff like that. So he's an interesting character too. I failed to mention that until now.
We know about it now.
It's a world premiere.
That's cool. Very cool. Okay, so Fearless Squatcher asks, what was in the tanks that had to be cleaned out? And it is pigment for cement, I think.
Yeah.
Dye.
For coloring cement.
It's a similar dye to what we used on the countertops.
Mm-hmm. So
that orange kind of dye-ish. I just think it was.
There was an orange one
colors.
and there was a red one-ish. There were one was orange, one was reddish.
Yeah, and that's why Garen and Ellie wanted to save it. They are thinking they might use that dye sometime down the road.
I had a comment by a gentleman, I don't remember, you'll have to take a look through, but he said he had several of those too he was going to use for rain catchment.
Oh, okay.
And he hadn't cleaned the dye out yet. He admitted, I haven't cleaned the dye. I've been wanting to do that for several months. And I said, well, get with it. I commented.
I thought I was going to say he filled it with rainwater.
No, he had the same things, same containers with the same dye. So
yeah, and on that same note, Rob Joseph Murray II says, so cool, and I hope the little puppy was okay, and he was just fine.
Yeah. Yep. Yippity-yip.
Very, very happy. Go lucky little puppy. So cute.
Yeah, and Mountain Deluxe says, I love how G and E, Garen and Ellie, work so well together. Unspoken communication, and they seem to be genuinely happy to be around each other. Ellie's so laid back. I bet she never even cussed when she was having the baby, and that's a true statement.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it is true. They're
just
work
a dynamite
well
couple.
Yeah.
Love it. You love it.
They work so well together.
Yeah, they do.
It's like 2 peas in a
so
pod.
cute.
Well, now 3
Happy
peas in a
for 'em.
pod, but you know.
Yeah. I know, 3 now. 3 peas in a pod.
Completes the whole pea.
Yeah. All right.
Bean.
I think I have it's looking okay. Tom Lindgren.
Oh, Tom.
Yeah, over on our Patreon, he asked, "Are you going to have to put a shade over the fish? Are the plants going to be able to be put in those coat things?" And I don't
Is
know.
that for which aquaponics?
I think this is for the aquaponics that Garen and Ellie are building.
Yeah.
And
Okay,
I
that
don't know
makes
if they're going to
sense.
need to cover it or not. I know that they're going to paint the containers.
He has mentioned building a structure somewhat around it.
Okay.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
It's kind of a mystery on what he's going to do.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
discovering it just like, we're just from week to week as well. I'm not really sure what his plan is. It's going to be fun
It's
to
funny, from
watch
Tom-
it unfold.
From Tom's question, it's something about putting a coat on a fish. Is that a guy?
I think it's on
warm or
the.
something?
I think he meant the totes.
Oh, totes.
I think he
Coat
meant the
on-
totes
coat on the
that,
tote.
I think we referred to them as totes.
We're gonna have
Oh,
little
right.
coats
'Cause
knitted
but
for every
it's
fish.
like they're.
Yeah.
Keep
You know
them
what?
warm.
You probably keep
the
them
top
warm.
is great.
There you go, Bryson. There's your solution you've been looking
put
for.
coat on
Yeah.
a fish. There we
Put
go.
coats on them. You gotta love it.
They look in the clear water.
Or we could take them out and
Fish
spray
wearing.
paint them a certain
Color?
foam.
black.
Reflective,
So that
maybe?
they-
So spray them in spray foam. Insulate them.
You just see this fish with this little
Floating.
fin
Oh gosh.
bumps across the thing. Kind of like a puffer fish.
There you go.
You can get freshwater
You got
puffer
more there,
fish that eat
No?
snails.
Okay.
And that was my plan to get rid of the snails. Was using
puffer fish?
I was getting a puffer fish, but they seem pretty.
How much you want to bet that those snails are still in there?
Oh, they are. The
Okay.
water has completely frozen in the pipes, and the snails are still alive.
Oh my
So-
gosh.
There you go.
They can live through anything.
Yeah, I've actually considered completely drying up like the entire system just to get rid of those.
I
and
bet they'll
starting
come
over.
back though. They're
But
eggs or
here's
something.
the issue.
Yeah.
Yeah, the eggs, they don't die. They just dry up.
Bet you if you
come
sprayed them
back,
with
and
bleach,
they
they
keep
die.
It's really.
I can make them die. Believe me.
You'd have to clean the whole. Oh, you just pour a ton of bleach in there, and like bleach the whole system,
That just
kill them
seems
all,
like.
and then drain it all out, and then
Oh.
run it. That
But
would.
are the snails really bad? They're not bad.
No,
are
they're
they?
not bad. And I
Oh,
was
well then
thinking,
why are we
like,
trying to kill them if
I
they're
was
fine?
thinking too. The tilapia are actually.
mean now. I'm sorry. I didn't know. I didn't know they were
I
harmless.
don't think they're.
I thought they were
carnivorous.
like
They-
destroying your
they-
system or something.
They are harmless, except they just have been overbreeding like insane. It's like having that animal that you can't get rid of because they're just overbreeding.
Oh,
You know.
can we fish with them? Can they be like used?
So actually, I looked that up. I
Like
thought
worms?
do tilapia eat snails? Because it seemed like they were not eating anything when I had them in the tank. So I thought maybe they were eating the snails.
Right.
I think they might have been actually eating the snail eggs. So
You sure
it actually
the
may not
snails
be a
weren't
bad
eating
thing.
them.
That's all. Maybe that's why there's none in there.
There's none in there. Why? Well, the
They
snails ate
launched
them
an
all.
attack. They launched
I
an
know.
attack back on the fish. Too many eggs got
They're-
eaten.
They're not bad. I think the only thing they do is they eat the algae, which is okay. But the surface algae is actually healthy for a tank to have. So as long as they don't eat all of that off the sides of the tank, they just keep it trimmed, we should be okay.
Yeah.
There's so much algae. I don't think they'd ever be able to keep.
I don't think they
not,
are
well, I
too.
mean,
Um,
they're a massive amount and they keep
one of
growing. So
the-
maybe there is an amount, but
One of the things I really want to do before I put more fish back in there is Garen mentioned adding a bio system for it, which is bio balls, and have a whole tank for that. I think I'm going to add that, and I think I'm going to add a really large black light on there because the one I put on there wasn't quite strong enough to do the job. So I want to get a bigger one, and that will clear the water up, and then we can see the fish. We can keep better track of their health.
yeah,
And some other things.
because it's
So
such a mystery to know
Yeah.
if they were doing
There
good or
were-
how many
there
was
were
in
moments-
there. Like,
there were moments that fish would die in the tank, and I wouldn't know because I
yeah.
couldn't see the water, and they would be at the bottom, and I would
Yeah.
not know about them.
Yeah. So
and
it'd be
later I would
nice to
find
have
them,
it
and I'd be
clear.
like, ooh,
Yeah.
I didn't know this would be in there, So
revamping, trying to figure out how to be successful next time.
I think I
sure.
can keep a healthier tank if that water is clear and I can see it.
Yeah, makes sense.
I feel like I can keep a healthier tank that way.
Lindsay asks, how do you usually wash your clothes? Do you use a washing machine or washing clothes by hand?
In the aquaponics.
We all smell fishy,
Gotta
but
use that
at
water
least
for
it saves on
something.
water. We use a washing machine. I was just thinking the other day, I did so much laundry the other day, and I was thinking, man, I'm so glad I don't have to wash this all by hand. Can you imagine having to wash clothes by hand? I feel like
I think
respect,
just wear it
mad
until it
respect
fell
the people
off.
that have done that and do that. That's just amazing.
Yeah, one thing though is we do not have a dryer.
No.
I think you probably have seen us hanging our clothes, and that's because it just doesn't make any sense to have a dryer here, especially in the summer. Before you can even hang things up, things are already dry. And I just can't justify running a dryer when there's just all that heat outside to use. And then in the winter, we just have to avoid the rainy days. Not many rainy days around here, so you just do your wash on, then you just hang it from in the beginning of the day to the end, and it's dry too. So I just can't get myself to use a dryer. And we had one for a while, and Dad he hauled it out of here because we just didn't use it.
We didn't need it. The clothes smell great too. I love it.
When you use a dryer or when you do outside?
No, when you have them outside, they just smell great too. The sun.
They do. It's really freshening.
We still have our challenge, Garrett.
What challenge?
Our hanging up clothes challenge. We're going to challenge Bree and Bryson too.
We have quite the system.
We might hijack the system.
We're gonna have to try to find a way.
The secret ingredient
do
to their
too.
You guys
success.
need to practice up. That's all I got.
You know what? I have to say though, I don't know if you've seen me and Bree play Fortnite, but we can be a pretty darn good
Yeah,
team.
Dad and I
We're
are
a
going to take
team.
you on that too.
However, though, Bree,
We are?
here's the scary
How
part.
exciting.
Because we're really good, aren't we, Garrett?
Yeah, we're really good. huh?
Bree, here's the scary
but
part.
We'll handicap ourselves. We'll just
Yeah,
do
don't
pickaxes
play.
and we'll give them guns.
Handicap yourself. Just don't play.
Perfect.
Just
They don't know that I've been secretly brushing up on it.
Yes.
I think what they should do is just
Except I think it runs
when
on
they,
Windows.
when they come out of the
I'll
bus.
get that going. Don't worry about that.
When they come out of the
Got you,
bus,
yeah.
when they come out of the bus, just fly into the water.
Why?
Off the map. Well, but then we can win easier. It's just.
The storm will get you that way, Dad. We'll
Well,
easily
I'd
take
rather
you.
die by a storm than being shot by you. You know
You
what I mean?
know, here's the victory in Fortnite.
Now, is Fortnite the one where you have the little guys flying up in the air with umbrellas?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Yep. That's the one I'm really good at.
I mean, I just didn't look at the title. That's why I didn't know the name of it. I don't look at that because I'm so focused on the game, you know?
Bree,
Getting
our
better.
parents are probably these secret players of Fortnite, and we don't know about it. And they're just going to come in and just like wipe the
Mom
map
and I,
every
late
time.
at night, spend several hours playing.
We actually have another secret channel off to
Alt
the side.
accounts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember. Oh my gosh! I remember your mom, Grandma. You needed to do something. So you're like, hey, Bree, you want to do something with Grandma? So I was like, okay. So we were playing Paladins at the time, which is a similar game, but it's more chaotic. And I was like, Grandma, you want to come see? I'll show you how to play this game. She's like, okay. And then we went in, and she was so confused. And I'm like, and then she's at the keyboard, and I felt bad. I was like, okay, but we've gotten to this point. I've showed her how to play, so we gotta take it to the end. So she has her hand on the mouse and the keyboard. She's looking, and she's like, did I get it? She's not doing anything, you know? Or she's like, I'm like, all right, move forward and I'll shoot for you. And I'm like, you're doing good, but I don't even know what was happening. Oh, I'm so sorry, Grandma. I don't know what I was
It's kind of
thinking.
like those 2-year-olds you put on the you put them on the you go into an arcade and you just sit them there and
you
they
just sit 'em
think
there.
they're playing.
Yeah, I feel like it was like that.
Even though it's
felt
blinking,
so bad.
game over, game over.
You're like, dude, so good.
You know, I will
Oh, I felt bad.
admit there is a certainty type when you go to play, especially the difference between Fortnite and other first-person shooters. There's a big difference.
I think
There's
it's
a third
easier.
person and there's a first person, and getting used to that, just getting used to the first person's hard. Getting used to the third person is different. It feels easier, I think, to start out on a third person, but it's
all right.
different.
You're gonna ace it, Mom.
It's totally
I believe
different.
I'm
in
not
you.
worried.
No.
Yeah.
You know that monster
We'll get
truck?
on, won't we, honey?
You know that monster truck game?
Boom.
Mom used to play that monster truck game.
Oh,
used
that was
to play.
my favorite game.
It's so similar to that,
How?
except you have a character standing there instead of a truck.
Yeah, no, I
And it's
wouldn't
the
say
same.
it's similar at all, but
Oh.
you know, maybe
Oh,
you
Thanks
can
for bringing
correlate
up
it.
such a painful memory.
Maybe.
Your mother used to just wipe me off the board with that game. Monster truck.
I
She'd
looked
just
for that
wipe me
game.
up.
I've been looking for that game for a long time, but I don't know what to search.
It's
So I've been searching Monster Truck game where you
25, 30
destroy
years old.
everything. And like arcade game, and I was trying to find it.
It was the only arcade game I liked because normally you play these games that you have to avoid hitting things or avoid going off the road or whatever they are. And the Monster Truck was like, you crush as many things as you try to hit things. And that was so fun. You just, go over all kinds of things, and your wheels are going up and down. And it was a great game. It was the only one I played when I was younger.
It sounds like a lot of fun. I'm like, I really want to play this game.
It does. I wish we could find the old arcade game.
If you know what it is, please post the name of it.
Wouldn't that be fun to locate the old arcade game?
And restore it, or find either a broken one and fix it up, or just find it. Lots of times those games are copied over to computer. Sometimes they copy them over, so you still can play them. They're just copied to
but there was something about sitting in the chair, having a steering wheel and the sound.
Oh, was there a steering wheel
and
stuff too?
I'm pretty sure.
Was there a steering wheel? Yeah, you actually steered.
That'd be fun to have an arcade room here. Maybe we can make the top of Shay's
house into an arcade room. Shay's room into an arcade.
We still have Garen's room.
That's
to do
brilliant.
With too.
Garen's,
Garen's the guest room. Yeah.
There are Raspberry Pis that they take, and they install old arcade games on them. Mm-hmm. And then what you do is you have one machine, and then you have a bunch of arcade games on there, and you can swap. I think you can swap through them. Like you can decide which one you want to play.
Are they a la mode?
Machine.
Now, have you noticed, Gary, that we started joking about?
Nobody got it. Hopefully everybody else got it.
I missed. I'm sorry.
You and we start joking about video games, and Bryson's immediately so serious.
Yeah.
Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out how to build this thing. Make this thing a reality.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Let me overthink this.
Did you mention it to make it real or not? Make yourself known here.
I'm thinking how hard would it be to take a computer, install all the old stuff on there, build a wooden structure for the game, put a steering wheel on there, and we now have old console.
I actually would really love to do the decals on. Are we making the arcade?
That would be fun.
Let's say we build 4 of them. Okay, it sounds crazy, but let's say we build 4 of them, right? We could all to a server
play it on together,
so that you have one machine that plays them all, right?
Yeah.
And then you record all the screens, and we do a live stream of us or a gameplay of us playing these old arcade games.
So
just
fun.
Going back through the history, playing Pac-Man, playing all these older.
And we can talk about the history of them, the build,
games,
and everything else.
Pong. Boop, boop. We
Pong.
can start
Pong. Oh yeah, Gary, you and me Pong.
You know what?
I played.
We could start the history, the first game, arcade games, and move up the line. It'd be fun.
I played a lot of Pong on the first generation iPods. It was the only thing that was on the games. They had a game section, and Pong was on there, so I played that quite a bit.
Well, I hate to admit that I played Pong when it first came out. So.
Yeah, me and my brother did too.
Yeah.
It was the game, man.
It was so cool. You had it on that you sat down on the floor, and you had those old-fashioned TVs there, and you boom, boom.
Now, I don't want to make fun of millennials, but what was that one thing that millennials were so shocked at seeing?
I don't know. I read this for a while back, and then I had a gal ask me the other day, and I almost laughed.
Yes.
And it was they said millennials. Some. Now, we can't put them all on a
Yeah, excuse me, Mom. Don't label me. No, I'm just kidding.
But some millennials were unaware of, the way we used to watch TV with antennas, and before cable and internet. And it was free, of course. You put your antenna on, you pick up stations. And apparently there was an article that came out that said millennials were so shocked. You mean there's free TV somewhere? There's free?
Whoa, really?
And there was a gal who asked me the other day, she's like, what is it called? I have is an antenna. Is that what it's called? Like an antenna TV? And I said, yeah. It was really cute.
Oh, that's so cute. I remember doing the antenna thing. And then Dad would I had braces at the time. So you're like, maybe if we hook Bree's braces up, we'll get a better reception. I know it well. I know it well.
I think that was the last time we had a TV.
Yeah.
You can get antennas that connect to TVs. I know. They're just...
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. See, he's there too.
I remember you guys talking about. I'm trying to think how you would set that up nowadays, with a new.
It's
TV.
really easy.
It works the same.
You'd have, but
coaxial. The coaxial thing will actually take in.
Coaxial connection. Okay, that's what I was trying to think of. But I don't think our flat screen has that.
No, our flats. No.
So you'd probably have to get an adapter or something. I bet you they have them though, like some adapter to connect to
'cause you don't-
HDMI and then plug that in.
Yeah.
TVs today don't come with the ability to have
Probably
antenna
not.
hooked up?
The older ones do.
there are
But they do
computers
have
that
free
don't come with hard
stations.
drives. So
They do have free stations though still.
That's
But
nice.
I don't know how we even get them though. Must be through the internet because our TV comes with stations that are free. They're very not great, but they're free. So
Oh.
It is. They must.
it's
do
like
them
I was
through
like,
the
oh,
internet
this is
maybe,
interesting.
yeah.
It's a little different.
Or
But
maybe they have
it'd
built-in
be like your
antennas or something.
local stations out there. You know,
Yeah.
they're supported by Fox, CBS, ABC.
You know, that's kind
Blah,
of
blah,
an interesting thing that I don't get, because TV companies, they provide you an internet service, or they provide you a service, right? And then they bombard you with ads, and then they charge you for the service.
Oh, like it's got to be one or
Yeah,
the other.
It doesn't make any
Well,
sense
in
because
today's day,
you think
it's
about
one or the
today
other.
when you play games and stuff. If it's a free game, you expect ads. If it's a paid game, you do not expect ads. There better not be ads on there, right? Or other paid content that you have to buy.
They tried to do.
You
There
shouldn't
was
do
a
that.
company that tried to do that. They charged you an arm and a leg for the game. 1 second, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
And then they charged you to get more content in the game. Ooh, people had a fit.
It was bad.
And they had to
You know,
back it out.
It's okay if it's a special edition. You know, they do special edition ones.
Yeah,
That's
that's different.
acceptable.
They're
But
packs.
it should,
I don't know.
the full game should be, if you pay for it, it should be the whole game. You shouldn't have other things you have to pay for it. And that's just wrong. But yeah, anyway, so it's just weird to me that they provide you a TV service and then they charge you for it, and then they run ads on top of that TV service. These guys got to be making an arm and a leg off of all the ads that are
Welcome
charged.
to America.
Plus all the, I mean, like, do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, capitalism at its best, right there. I'm telling you.
I know. I hear older
know.
people. They'll be like, they don't understand that sentiment. They'll be on the other side of it. So you hear the complaints on one side, and then you're like, why are all these people worried about ads? Like, or they like ads, or they want it for free. Oh, that's the thing. Why do they want it for free? Well, because you're running ads. That's why it should be free. And they're like, no, you don't understand. We charge plus the ads. So it's like this. I hear both sides of
this
the argument.
weird
It's-
circle.
Isn't it like we haven't? We'll go to like Grandma and Grandpa's house and we'll catch TV there. And aren't you guys so shocked at the number of commercials and the length of time you got to?
And
It's
they're all the
mostly
same.
commercials, I feel like.
They're all the same. They're
the same
either
commercials.
health.
Yeah, they're
ads,
always health one. It
ads,
seems
you
like
know.
a lot
Yeah.
of health ads.
And
health.
car and
not
truck.
health. It's not health. It's
Vacuum
medical.
cleaner
Medical
ads.
stuff.
Get your lipothin or whatever
Yeah,
it is.
and makeup.
Oh wait, and then
perfumes,
it
feel
may
like it's another one.
cause everything, inclling death. You
Oh,
know,
and
that's the whole
cars.
thing.
Whole
goes
list
in.
of
Car
like,
Yeah,
commercials,
it's
big one.
amazing what people
cars,
tolerate
yeah.
because
we
I
wouldn't.
guess when we moved to streaming, for some reason we just almost can't tolerate that.
I-
We
it-
get
it really
offended.
Hate
bothered me.
watching
I'm
regular
just-
Yeah.
TV.
that whole content level is just like, now we expect way more content than ads in some cases. You know?
Yeah, I'm like, I don't mind watching an ad or two. Like I expect it
Yeah,
when
I
I'm
don't mind
or
that
having
either.
ads on it, but the
if I'm watching
amount,
it for free, I get that. You know?
like it wasn't worth it to me to sit down. I would have rather paid a few dollars to rent whatever we were watching than have to sit through all of the ads that they would have you see. Like it was mostly ads. In fact, they had to cut down the movie so they could get the ads in there.
Modified.
You know? Yeah, it's like, whoa! I can see if this was the only option, but it's not. So why do it?
It takes
For
you,
us,
like,
at least, you
it
know?
takes you hours to get through like a half-hour show, and it's like, what in the world?
I know we're just used to being on
Crazy.
Netflix and
So
just
used
bam,
to it.
bam, bam. You go through a series
Yeah.
and you just
Although
see it all.
for the first time in my life, I'm not up on it. So like we're up in Laughlin, and they're talking about shows that I do watch, and they're like, "Oh, did you see the latest one?" Like they get all the latest stuff,
Yeah.
and we get we're a few seasons behind.
Everything, yeah.
So it's so funny that they're the
Oh,
ones
that's true.
up on all the latest, and then we're not.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
Well,
Have you
ads
seen
are-
da-da-da? Yeah, the first season
Yeah.
or two.
Was there more?
Yeah, we're in season 7 now. Oh yeah, well, we'll catch
we
up
are
here pretty
behind.
soon.
That's true. I guess that's it.
That
That's,
is
I'd
true.
like
if you're willing
that doesn't
to.
bother me.
It
But I
doesn't
you know,
bother me either.
yeah.
I like watching ads though because they usually have pretty fun editing type things, and it's fun to kind of see what they do. And some of them are pretty clever.
Oh, they're telling a story in 30 seconds, you know?
Well, like the Super Bowl ads, you look forward to, right? You want to. I mean, I haven't watched the Super Bowl for a while too. I have to admit.
I'll actually
but,
look up the ads though.
But the ads, yeah, you look up the ads if you don't go because that's like the
Very
entertaining
creative.
part, one of the
Yeah.
entertaining parts now of it. So
That's pretty neat. It's a neat thing.
There's been so many ads. Finally, they got it to be one of the things you come for.
Yeah.
But they're clever usually. They're fun to watch. So I thought we'd end on one last question. When do we get to see the barn door system? Would love to see how that turned out. And that's coming soon.
Yeah, it's not just a simple
very
door we're going to
soon.
throw up on the thing. It has something artful attached to it, so it's going to take a little time to develop that.
We just
It sounds like
discovered
a
some ways to do it, though, that is going to be pretty cool.
Yeah.
So.
I'm
But
looking
I
forward to
think
it.
this week, this coming Friday now, we'll do the actual where the bar gets attached, and then you building the bars or building the doors. I don't know if you'll get them both done. I think you're getting close to getting one done.
Yeah.
So we'll have that, and then next week will probably be more the art part of it. Hopefully, if things
more
go
the
to
art.
schedule, which they don't always do.
a few more materials for that. So
Yeah. So.
Yeah, so that's been a fun one, and that's the final piece, and it's I'm glad
kitchen.
To the kitchen
Yeah.
will be the final piece, and it's kind of well, I don't know, is that true, Gary? Do we have anything else after that? Just probably things we
After
won't
the kitchen?
film. I mean, in the kitchen we probably won't film
the two
anything else.
doors when we put the doors in for the entryway and the doors to the kitchen.
And you have
Well,
some
yeah,
little
outdoor
things
kitchen.
that we
Outdoor kitchen.
probably won't. The next thing will
I'm
be
going
just
to go through and tune up the
Yeah,
kitchen.
but we
so
probably
there's some
won't film
adjusting
that.
of doors and
No,
no, it just takes
that'll
seconds.
just be
That'll
little things that we
part
do.
of
to-
maintenance and stuff.
then
of the
we'll be
kitchen.
ready to move on to the next
Touch-up
big
paint.
project, and I know we're super excited to get started on that shop. You've got it all designed, as
Yeah.
we've said before.
I've already
and-
built
really
several things
exciting.
in my head, already in the shop using tools I don't have. So it's going to be fun.
Yeah, and
it's
we've had a
gonna be
couple garage doors that have been sitting out there for years that we've been planning to use on the shop, and I think we might actually, if they're not too damaged, we'll be able to use those too. So
Yep.
If not, they will probably appear as something else in the
Yeah.
future because
yeah,
Wow, you made that out of a garage door. That's amazing.
awesome. It's a base. No. Dad's always talking about what a big base is out of. So garage doors. There you go, Dad.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
mine. You could call it Bree's idea.
Breeze base. Made 9-foot base because they're 9-foot doors.
Hey, did you notice too, Bree, on the last Weekly Peak, there was a few calls for you to have a Bree Barely Bakes.
Oh.
Maybe we need to make that
They
a
were actually
segment.
disappointed you didn't have a Bree Barely base.
I love. I actually have something that I'm going to be doing for the Bree Barely Bakes. It's not baking, but that's the barely part of the baking show. I was thinking.
Were you just thinking about baking? I'm
I
thinking
was-
about baking.
Yeah,
today.
I was
Yes.
up. I was up late last night.
You
and-
should read her tweets, Gary.
I had
from-
read the last one on that.
on online here. You should read
The
them.
one about sushi.
Yeah, you
Oh,
should
that
read
one.
her 2 tweets because
Oh, here
the one-
it explains it. It explains it better.
you told me this morning when
Here,
you
I'll
come
I'll
and
give it
you
to
said,
you.
"Hey,"
Yeah, that's right.
and you read Bree's tweets from last night. And
Okay.
Then,
Oh,
yeah, yeah.
So
you
this
should read
this
them.
explains. This explains my
Okay, I'm reading her tweet.
Last
she says,
night.
I
this was
should,
last night,
Yeah.
really
Last night.
late.
very late.
10:30. She says, I shouldn't be allowed to be on YouTube or Amazon late at night. I stumbled upon someone making sushi and ... I just bought a sushi making kit and seaweed sheets. Apparently, I'm attempting California rolls. So that's happening.
Yeah, and then this morning, she tweets out,
It's morning now. I regret nothing.
And I don't. I am so excited to make this sushi. We have sprouted rice, and I really have been dying to try to make something with it, so we can kind of bring it to you. This idea of the sprouted
"Yes,"
sprouted
because we
rice.
were so shocked to find that.
Mhm. And so I want to make something
Yes.
as a way to share it.
I
and
love
so
Do they have
love
sprouted
California
seaweed?
rolls.
Sprouted
This is
seaweed?
organic seaweed. If that helps you.
How can organic
Does seaweed
it's-
sprout?
I believe
don't know.
that
I
you're
don't think
eating
so.
the
Grow that.
sprouted part of it. It's like an apple, maybe.
I don't even know how seaweed starts.
Who
We wanted
knows?
to do a seaweed tank though.
Well, very small, most likely. Most things
But-
are small.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
seaweed is
Seaweed
easy
is
to grow.
supposed to be so healthy for you.
Yeah.
You should read up the
All
health
you
of it.
need
It's on
really
the
for
diet.
seaweed is an ocean.
Actually,
Yeah, we just an
here's-
ocean, Bri.
Perfect.
You
know what?
just
Ocean
get
front
that.
property.
Let's go.
Out here in the desert, we have plenty of sand.
You like
Lots
to
of
think
beach.
big.
Yeah. Let's. How do we dig a trench from here, 45,000 miles that way to the nearest ocean? A nice trench.
Well, no, I'm
Yeah.
thinking instead of a pond in the backyard, which we're probably not going to be able to get to anyway, let's just make it an ocean. We can do the waves, and it's all
Salt
salty.
The
water.
wave machine,
Yeah, a shark,
surfboarding.
you know?
Shark in there,
Build this
dolphin,
big
Shark
giant
one.
sphere over the top
yeah,
of our
swordfish.
property.
That's what I want. I want to go swordfish fishing in the pond.
Yeah, we might not want to do a shark. You might want to pull back on that thought. But
They can't
You're
be dangerous.
right.
the one animal, if it stops swimming,
right.
it dies. That's amazing. And
What?
I
What?
learned something about sharks too. That's
wait,
like
wait.
blows your mind.
If they
What
stop
did you just
swimming, they
say?
die. A shark
That's
does?
what I've heard. Yeah.
Oh.
So that's why they're hard to
Oh
keep
my
in captivity.
I think we should do
Impossible. I don't think anyone's
piranhas
ever done it
instead.
successfully. Piranhas, ooh, okay. But sharks, they actually they have a lot of babies in their stomach. Then one baby wins and eats the other babies in the stomach. And that's how it survives on nutrients. And then it comes out. So like if you reach down into it, it'll bite your hand. The baby will. It's amazing. They're amazing animals.
it's
Did
a
you know
little-
that?
Oh no, we have to do.
And
a
wasn't it
segment on
discovered
sharks.
so interesting. We have to
accidentally
go
by a guy
visit.
putting his
You
hand
said
in a
there's
shark
no-
too?
Not the sharks I'm thinking of. I hate to say names. I don't think it's a great white, but if they're like, I think it might be the great white. It's like that.
Oh, we have to go visit something so we can talk about sharks. That's really interesting. I
That
like
would be
that.
really. It
You
was
know,
just,
it's
I
so
mean, I don't
easy
like
to
that.
humanize
Yeah, that's
that
weird.
stuff,
But
too.
ew, but
We
cool, but cool. Yeah.
I believe we have some water
Anamorphic.
exhibits.
Water exhibits here about
Here.
sharks
They're
around.
They're a big museum
Within
of
a few
water
states of
exhibits,
us?
and they have a ton of like water creatures and different.
Do they have sharks? You said
Probably.
There's no.
Oh,
no. I think
Uh,
the only person that
maybe
like
no.
they only got up to a month with it living in captivity. They've never done it successfully.
right.
It might have been more than a month. But
It's probably because they keep losing keepers, museum keepers.
Arms,
And
legs,
arms and legs and
toes.
things keep getting
You know,
eaten.
It's
Well,
probably
I'm not
something
having
we
any more
haven't
sharks
discovered yet that lives in water, and they need them, and it's in the ocean, and we don't have it when
That's
we bring
their
it
food
in.
source.
Something they need in their diet that we just don't realize they need.
We should do a shark segment at some point.
Yeah, we have to go visit so we
I
can
don't know.
talk to
Visit.
some people about sharks.
I want to
I'm
do
thinking-
Sasquatches too. I know that that's not
know,
sharks, but
I
let's
have
do
to
some fun
say-
ones that are
Yeah.
interesting.
I have to say, Dubai has some pretty underwater hotels that we could go.
Yeah.
Well,
that'd be
that's a
quite
little
the trip.
farther than
No,
I was thinking.
that would be a trip.
Haven't
It'd
we
be awesome,
seen
but it would
sharks
be.
though?
Goodbye, bank.
We have seen
Goodbye,
sharks
I've
in those underwater tubes, with them going by though, haven't we?
Well, little ones,
Yeah.
but the big ones that I'm talking about, they never
Oh,
kept in
okay.
captivity.
You know, we could go
I don't want
see.
to say the name because I don't want to look like an idiot.
You know
but
what we
I
could
think it's
do?
the
That is
I think
amazing.
it's the great whites.
You know what we could do? Instead of going and seeing a live one, we could go see skeletons of ones
Okay, yeah, we can work
That
with
should
that.
solve it.
Perfect, done. Psh,
and animate the skeletons, bring them
animate
to
them.
life, and then describe the whole
Experience.
Animatronics.
experience.
Yeah.
You can dive with sharks.
Server
can't you?
motors.
Yeah, you
Ooh,
can.
it seems so scary though. I think I'll pass.
Mm-hmm.
I retract my statement. Okay, I think that's gonna wrap it up for us.
I don't think I would
this
want to
week
stick my hand
we
out
are
the
on.
cage, but
Yeah, we are on this podcast also plays on our Spotify, as well as iTunes podcast. If you'd like to see the link down in the description, it's down there as well. So we like to be every place you are, so it is there as well. And if you're new to our family and you're coming in from those spots, you've never heard of My Little Homestead before, we post on YouTube 3 times a week. We have the podcast that goes up every Monday morning. Then we have our recaps, which are full segments, one subject that's pulled from our weekly peak, which is our Friday variety show. And the recaps, those one subjects come out on Wednesday. And then, of course, on Friday nights, our big show, which is our variety show. And those are whatever we've done that week, that's what we share. And it's all kinds of subjects because we're into all kinds of things. We're a big family. We're a big group. And we love what we do. We love sharing that. So thank you so much for being a part of our family and getting in on the conversation. We love to be able to interact with you, and if you have questions and comments, we love taking those from the recent weekly peak and getting to sit down and discuss them and everything else. So we really appreciate you getting in on the conversation.
really fun.
Thank you so much for being here. Thanks for being a part of our family, and we look forward to hanging out with you on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Bye.